we're just dancing with life, and we're just going in this regular rhythm, and we like our rhythm. We like it this way. We like the dance this way. And suddenly this thing comes in and triggers this change. Hello there. And it is Monday again, and we're going to, I'm going to keep exploring this whole in concert idea because I'm really liking the flow of that and I'm loving exploring it. And I started thinking about how, when we are in concert with something, there's a rhythm to it. There's a basic way this rhythm of life and how we're moving through it is, right? And we stay in this one rhythm and we just keep working, we just keep, going through the world in that way. And sometimes that rhythm, we get so used to going that, and we, it's very consistent, and it happens. This is what we do. We get up in the morning, we go to work, we do this, and on Sundays we do this, and on Mondays we do this, Tuesdays we do this. And there's great things when you do schedule yourself. Sometimes it is super helpful, but it can also get you in a place that you can become in a rut. And things like COVID and things like the stuff that's going on in the world, especially COVID, because it really disrupted our rhythm. It was a major life event, probably more so than any other thing that we've ever, experienced before. It was a trigger, and there's so often that there's that trigger. So, it can be, the death of a loved one. It can be the change in a relationship. It can be, there's just so many things. Change in a job. So many things, will get in there. So we're just dancing with life, and we're just going in this regular rhythm, and we like our rhythm. We like it this way. We like the dance this way. And suddenly this thing comes in and triggers this change. And quite often at first, we want to ignore that trigger. We want to stay in our own rhythm, and we don't want it to change. So we just keep trying to dance in our old way, or even think about that old way, but we keep trying to do that, right? We're trying to dance to this old rhythm, but the rhythm has changed so dramatically that we can't anymore. It's impossible for us to continue in that old thing. And when we do, it's like if they change the song and you keep dancing to the same old way that you were dancing before, you suddenly start to feel the dissonance of that. You feel the discord of that, what is happening? Like, why am I not, I'm dancing that same dance, but the song changed. But eventually, we start to catch up with it. At first it's like we really want that old way to come back, right? We really want that old thing. Like, I liked my rhythm. I liked the way it was. Damn it. I don't want it to change. But we can't. So eventually we start moving in this new rhythm. So, I think about, things like when, years ago when I, all of a sudden was divorced. I didn't expect my life to be that way. I didn't expect to be, a single mom raising kids. I didn't, think, and I don't know, you kind of fight it at first, right? And then you have to really get into that new groove and into that new idea and reinvent yourself again. And I can't even tell you how many times I've had to do that in my lifetime to, hit the reset button and reinvent, go with this new concept and this new idea that is happening, that I wouldn't have thought about before. And you have to kind of take new steps, right? You have to create this new dance, this new idea of moving. But there's something absolutely extraordinary about that. And the beauty of the whole thing is that when we have to reinvent ourselves, when we have to start new chapters in our life, when we have to, when things get shaken up in a real way, it's like shaking up the sails and, sending you in a totally different direction. We have to learn new things. We have to learn new ways, to new rhythms. We have to learn new ways of being. We have to expand our skill sets. We have to deepen on our understanding maybe of ourselves, or discover things about ourselves. I mean, I think, with this COVID thing, I was really truly before this, in such a beautiful world with all the music that I had around me and all the people I had around me. I sort of stepped back, just taking a little bit of a break from some of it because I was a bit burnt out. So I'd been going pretty hard, right? Working, 4 days a week, and then doing concerts and doing, so online all the time, and working. And it got to a point where it was just a little bit overwhelming. And I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to. This is something that I love. This is something that I'm passionate about and that I love being part of, this whole community. But I also had to do that for my own well-being, is to step back out of it and go, okay, what, take that break. And then suddenly here we are sitting in this place where suddenly we can't get together and we can't do all these things the way we have always done them. It's disconcerting. It takes a while to get your balance in it, right? To get that, to connect to that new rhythm. What does this mean? Okay, so things are simpler now. I go to work, I come and I'm, on my own. I'm in home, whatever that may be at that moment. And we have to learn new things, and that's made me go to exploring this whole idea of how can I again get back to reconnecting with community, connecting with people that I want to. And I'm doing that through Zoom and through phone calls and things, and creating this channel, which I'm really having fun with and really getting some really cool ideas for. Is just a fun way of exploring something new. It's learning new skills. It's building, that change, right? Something, changing ideas of who you are. It's kind of cool. And as you go through these kinds of things, and especially if they're big life events that really trigger these things that mean you have to shake things up and establish something. We think we're in control of it, but we're really not. And suddenly we're now having to do something completely different. But we build this muscle. We start building these muscles of adaptability and of resilience. And we learn to, and humans are so resilient and so adaptable. We're fascinating creatures. There's people that lived in concentration camps and were able to be in the worst kinds of human conditions that they could possibly ever be in, and were able to mentally find ways to manage that and to cope and to get beyond that and grow in themselves and deepen it. People that go to prison and find ways to, reinvent themselves and reconnect to something within themselves, and not let the circumstances of what's going on around them be so prevalent that they can't find a way of feeling a peacefulness, right? That kind of thing, if that makes sense. So, there are these external things that can be those triggers, like we say, any kind of event. But here's the interesting thing about this, that creating new rhythms and having a new rhythm in a life, or a new chapter, or a new idea and everything, is not only sometimes, it's not only things that are thrust upon us that we maybe didn't expect. But interestingly, it can work reciprocally. We can begin to, instead of just responding to something, we can create something new in the world and a new experience of the world by what we change in here. By us choosing something different, by heading in a different direction and creating a new idea and a new resonance of the way we want to be in the world, it begins to change the world around us in interesting ways. So we're going to talk about that next week. So I hope you'll come back. And as we're going to continue this thread on this being in concert with the world, we are in a symbiotic relationship with the world and with everything around us. And let's kind of explore that a little bit. So yeah, hope you're adjusting to this dance of life and what we're doing right now. So cheers, and let's connect next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about what I just said. Have an awesome week.